Even on our worst days, we are never beyond the grip of God's grace. The Apostle Paul knew this very well. In Galatians 1:15 and 16, he says, "But when God, who set me apart from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son in me so that I might preach him among the Gentiles, my immediate response was not to consult with any human being." The Apostle Paul had kind of a sketchy background. He hauled Christians off to jail. He had them killed. When Stephen, the very first martyr, was killed, the Apostle Paul was there giving approval for it. So the Apostle Paul knew grace, not just intellectually, but experientially, because he himself was a trophy of God's grace. On the road to Damascus, God turned the life of the Apostle Paul around in a miraculous way as the scales fell from his eyes and he saw Christ and he believed and was baptized. And for us too, grace is something not just that we know and understand, but it's something that gets embodied in our lives. It's something we come to understand, not just by knowledge, but through experience. If you ever experienced being an object of someone's undeserved mercy and love, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The perfect example of this comes from the book Les Miserables. There's a character named Jean Valjean, and he has just been released from prison. He goes into the house of this bishop because he's poor, he doesn't have any money, and he steals some silver from the church. He gets caught red-handed, and the police haul him in before this bishop. And this is where you see a picture of grace, because the bishop, rather than condemning him and sentencing him to a life of servitude in prison, instead, he tells the officers that it was actually a gift, and he pays the cost for Valjean's sins. And as a result of this, we watch his life unfold, and grace becomes not just something he embodies, but something he shares with other people as well. When you experience grace in a powerful, embodied, tangible, experiential sort of way, man, it turns your whole world upside down. So I want to encourage you to reflect on that question. Where have I experienced God's grace in my life? And how might God be calling me to share that same grace with others, that their lives too might be changed from the inside out?